And we are all about understanding some of the key things and the roles that we play as a people in terms of getting our students understanding where they are headed in life. When they clear high school, they go to the next level that ushers them to the job market. But just how many of them are well versed and understand what is expected of them when they are making this crucial choice of the course that they are going to do, well, based on what it is the curriculum dictates for us, that is in regards to the marks that they get, and importantly, just how many of them pick courses that go hand in hand with the careers that they want to, venture into after school. We always say that, well, maybe our education is not well crafted to usher in our students or the people who go out there to the job market in the best way possible. We've introduced the competency-based curriculum. We get to ask ourselves, just how instrumental will it be to shape these students that we see out here? And looking around the room and probably back at home, the confusion is real. Yesterday I had a session with the CEO of Gotv. She'll be introducing herself later on, and we all agreed that the struggle is real. Transitional processes are crucial, and therefore we need to work together, have all the education sector partners working in tandem towards getting ourselves where we'll stop saying that we lack information. Information is here, but just how many of us are privy to this information? That's what we are all about. In the next 2 hours or so, that's what we'll be doing. And I have my, I don't want to call him my co-anchor or my host because, we always work together hand in hand. But then again, I'm the MC of the day alongside Abubakar Abdullahi, and he'll be introducing the guests or the able speakers that we have this morning. And importantly, we also open the ground for everyone who's participating this morning to even give their view, but importantly, ask crucial questions, because they are not just speakers, but they are speakers from entities that are crucial in matters education. Once again, my name is Linda Alela, and we kickstart the session. Let's allow Abubakar come in and introduce the guests. Abubakar.
Good morning. My name is Abubakar Abdullahi from TV47. For the next 2 hours, we are live already on TV47. Kindly, let's be mindful of both the language and our conduct on air, because that matters. For the next 2 hours, we are making sense of education matters, and we have a very able panel to discuss that with us. Quickly, let me introduce whom we have today. From our host, the University of Nairobi, we have Miriam Manya from the Academic Division. We have Dr. Fred Otieno, Chairman of Promotion of Academics, equally from the University of Nairobi. We have the CEO of CUPS, Dr. Masi Wahome, if you can wave to the audience kindly. From the National Industrial Training and Authority, we have Mary Wamoko, who is the Center Manager for Kisumu. All right, from Education Hungary, we have Caroline Kidama. You can wave to the audience as well. She's the head office, from the head office rather. From Mount Kenya University and its associate Equip Africa, we have Daniel Kiriti. You can wave to the audience equally. He's the Deputy Director, Communications and Student Recruitment. We have Jackton Bunde, Dean of Students from Jordan College of Technology. From the Kenya National Association of Private Colleges, we have Ekran Nungu, who is the Secretary General. Good morning once again to the panel and to our primary audience who are with us here this morning, and to the thousands who are watching us live on TV47. Your voice matters. So does your opinion count. Keep talking to us. Send us a message and be part of this discussion. The number to use is 22047. On Twitter, it is TV47 Virtual Career Fair. Let's get straight into our discussion this morning. And let me start with our host, of course, as Africans, Miriam Manya from the Academic Division. The very preamble of this discussion is pegged on careers. Let's start from the basics. Why does an advisory on career matter? It may sound simplistic, but it really does matter to someone who is watching this.
Thank you very much. Good morning all, and welcome to the University of Nairobi. Allow me first and foremost to congratulate all the KCSE 2020 class for the performance that they have given to us. and to really congratulate them for the resilience and fortitude that they have shown. They underwent a very unique experience, the COVID-19, but they still came out strong. Congratulations to you and to all those others from the other systems of education, the IGCSE, the IB, who I believe are undergoing their final exams as we speak. So, Mohammed, just as you have said, it is very important for young people to be guided. As they do their exams or go through their final year, many of them grapple with what they want to do in life, what career choices they need to make. And for many, you find that it is quite a challenging time. There's so much out there in the market, but you need mentorship, you need guidance to be able to show you the way and how to go. So at the University of Nairobi, we are able to provide these services in the academic division through the admissions office, and even with our Department of Career Services. In the high schools, they have the teachers, but then again, you find that there's such a focus on the big career areas, the engineerings, the medicine, the architectures, the law, but there's so much more in the job market, so many emerging areas. So this forum and many other forums that I believe will come are important for young people, and we encourage them to partake of the same.
Just looking at your response and from the language of it, you say they need in reference to the students, which to me sounds as though it is an external effort, kind of a guidance. Is it so first?
I believe so. Many years ago when I was in high school, this career guidance was provided in the school. And it was available to us as we were finishing our Form 4 or our A-levels. We had the Ministry of Education with a very elaborate career guidance booklet. I'm not sure that it is still available to our young people now, but from the questions that we get from them, it seems there is a gap in that area, and that we could go back to the basics, so to speak.
All right, and we have quite a number of young people here who will, when their time comes, answer whether they get that rightful advisory at institutions of higher learning. Let me get to...
Abu Bakr, before you go to the next speaker.
All right.
Maybe there's one person that we skipped introducing. And you know, this one person is that one person that we really look at and we're like, you know what, this is where money comes from. And therefore, if you fail to mention the representative of HELB here, I am telling you almost all the students are not going to like it. And therefore, let's...
Fair enough, Linda. We have Joseph Ndegwa from HELB. He's the head of lending. I suppose you have come with some cash, haven't you? All right, let me get to Dr. Fred Otieno, chairman of the academic promotion here at the University of Nairobi. Miriam talked of career guidance, and we are in agreement that it has to be an external, somewhat guidance that needs to come. Who is then supposed to guide these students?
Mohammed, thank you very much, and welcome to University of Nairobi. And this is the university. We are talking about guiding students. Guidance starts right from the personal individual. We are lucky that the world has changed. Most of our students are able to source some of this information from their gadgets that have been provided at home. That provides some guidance. But it is so much that you start needing to start talking with your parents, start talking with your teachers, and start talking with the universities or the tertiary colleges. Which are the courses which are out there? Which are the career prospects for these courses? Very important. Yes, you want to do medicine, but medicine is not all about looking after sick people. Medicine involves policy making and things like that. That needs to be calculated in them quite early. But how best to get this guidance? I remember one of my senior colleagues says, seeing a professor in your school hall makes a very big difference. And most of us were guided to choose what he chose because a professor of medicine, a professor of law, a professor of engineering came to talk to us. And you admire these people, the way they present themselves, the way they carry themselves around. But those courses that we have talked about are the traditional courses. The fourth industrial revolution is now here. Many things are coming into place. Blue economy, artificial intelligence, just to mention a few. These are courses which are now open, and you need somebody to tell you about them. I'll take an example like in our country. I think this week or last week, we had our second port being opened by our president for operational. There are careers there that the students need to choose from. Logistics, how to move goods. We are now ordering things online. How do you get that hamburger to you at lunchtime? It requires somebody who has done logistics to make sure that that hamburger is delivered to you. You're buying something from abroad. You need it here in Kenya. Logistics, how to move those kind of things around. You're talking about you're unwell or you want to do some engineering courses. Where best can you do that course? Is it in Kenya? Is it in Africa? Or is it Europe or Australia? And you need that kind of guidance from a professional counselor. And we are really glad that the Ministry of Health recognized the importance of guidance. And the Office of Career Guidance now is an established office, recognized, which all universities should be having to help guide students for their future. Thank you.
All right, let me bring in Daniel to the discussion. Daniel, from the response, we hear of the role of a teacher, teachers. We hear of the role of parents. Are they actively doing so in your own assessment?
Thank you, Mohammed. My name is Daniel Kiriti from Mount Kenya University. I think some are doing it. Some don't know. They think that is the role of the teacher to guide the pupils, to guide the student. But I want to challenge the parents who are watching us that the role of mentorship, career mentorship, start as early as when you introduce the child to school.
So it's a lifelong process. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes. That you need to see the strength, the ability of the child, and then from there you mentor them. For instance, there's some children will say, I want to become a doctor. So when you go to buy them toys, do you buy them engineering toys or things related to medicine?
And Daniel, is it not the case that they say they want to be doctors because society has set it either as a law or doctor or else or otherwise?
That is why today we'll hear from Tiveta that a career is what you make and have a passion.
Not what society decides for you.
Not what the society decides.
Fair enough. Let me bring Jackton to the discussion from the Jordan College of Technology. He's the Dean of Students. Many a times when students come to institutions of higher learning, they come with a predetermined mind of wanting to be either a journalist, a doctor, a lawyer, or any profession for that matter. What are the advices that institutions of higher learning give to these the students, to the extent that if a student wanted to be, let's say, a doctor, and they were massively talented in journalism, the institutions can advise that student to seek an alternative?
Private universities, private colleges that is performing and doing very well in the job market as we speak today. we brag of over 40,000 students, graduates in the past decades, because we've been in existence for over 13 years. And equally, we soldier on as we produce this workforce into the market. But back to your question, Mr. Mohammed. Once students register with us, we do not hesitate to expose them to the dynamics and realities of the job market and the world at large. Because we will not want everybody who joins us to bury their heads in the sand that all is sundry once you join the tertiary institution. And so we offer very flexible courses. In fact, we even give them a window of opportunity through which they can change. If perhaps one walks in with a mind of pursuing journalism, as you rightly put it, we equally give them a period to review if perhaps the grade with which he or she enters the Jordan College of Technology makes it easier for him or her to pursue it to the very bitter end. And those who perhaps rescind the decisions are given opportunity to pick any other course, irrespective of what they had initially.
And is this guidance therefore coming right from the entry when this student is getting to your institution, for instance, in particular, or it's coming midway, as some say, too late to change for another option?
Right. Very good. The advisory is coming from my office and the career guidance office, my former senior. And so we would not hesitate. The first minute upon registration, the information that is disseminated to the student together with the mother or the sponsor or whoever the person paying the fee is the possibility of exploiting the potential and possibly change if perhaps need be.
All right, and I was going through some data on the reasons as to why some students pick courses that they later on say was a wrong course for them. And let me ask this question to Caroline. Some of the reasons cited were lack of information of the job market, lack of career guidance, and skills for a particular job, or what is nowadays referred to as the dream of wanting to be something. Which begs the question, we have talked of the role of the parent and the teacher. What is the role of the student themselves at an age where you can literally find every information through phone?
Okay, so let me first take this opportunity to just say very briefly about Education Hungary before I go to your question.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we are a consortium of 4 Hungarian universities: the University of Pécs, University of Debrecen, Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and the International Business School. And our office is funded and supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary and the Hungarian Embassy, which is led by the Ambassador Mr. Zsolt Mészáros. Yes. Okay, so back to your question, in which you'd already mentioned about information being out there on our phones and other devices that we actually use. So for students who feel that they're not having access to the proper information in terms of career and related, I think I would say that there are quite a number of sites online that you can go to. There are career offices in our universities as well, that the students can reach out. There are counselors who they can reach out to in the various institutions. Even in the office where I work, we have psychologists in the office who will also guide in such matters. So even though they won't necessarily want to come and study in Hungary, but they can actually give us a call to get more information in regards to career guidance. So
Therefore, it's not the sole responsibility of be it the teacher or the parent. The student also has an active role in understanding that.
Absolutely. It's a collective responsibility for everyone. The teacher should guide, the parents should guide, and the students themselves should reach out as well to get this information.
All right, let me bring in Dr. Mercy Wahome, the CEO of CUSP, to the discussion. Good morning. You have a microphone, I think. Yes, we have sanitizer, and in line with the guidelines from the Ministry of Education, this is the last place we want anyone to contract any virus, not limited to coronavirus. All right, we are talking of career, the options. We will come to the specific rule that your organization plays in as far as the placement of the students at institutions of higher learning, be it colleges or universities, is concerned. And we are talking of the role of the parent, the teacher, and the student, because at the end of the day, it is the student who is getting to this institution of higher learning. Is there therefore a need, as someone in his response pointed, that the teacher, the student, and the parent be in unison in guiding these students of what they alternatively can be, not limited to what they want to be?
Good morning once again. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for having CUPS. I'd like to also mention that career guidance is one of our core mandates as a government institution. Yes, there is a gap because career guidance has to be a deliberate effort. Yeah, it has to be well coordinated, well thought out, and yes, it has to be a coordination between the parents, the teachers, and the students. Let me just say that, choosing a career or, is making a decision about your life, what you want to be. Mm-hmm. So decision making is mainly guided by what we see around us, what we hear from the people we interact with. Those are the main people who influence our decision making all the way up to our careers. And when we look at what is around us currently, or what is around for the young people, it's mainly a lot of social media, unfortunately a lot of negative media reports, and we see that when we go to the schools for career guidance activities. I'd just like to mention we've been to schools where students tell us they want to go into careers around supply chain or procurement, and you ask, why do you want to do this? And they say, because there's a lot of money there.
And these are students at secondary level, or they're already at institutions of higher learning?
In secondary schools.
They want to be in that field because there's a lot of money?
Yes. But when we talk about, when we had this discussion, there was a lot of news about procurement, people in government who had taken money and they were rich and were being followed up because of, earning the money in the wrong way. There are those who say they want to go into computer science because they can go in and hack into systems. So it is about the news and what we are having around. So career guidance needs to be really coordinated. As an organization, we have taken this very seriously. I know there was a gap in the career booklets, which now we have developed and they are available for the students. And we are having training for teachers. We also want to reach to the parents because at the end of the day, we are seeing students who are going into careers that their parents would have loved to go into. Mm-hmm. Somebody did not make it to medicine, and therefore they put a lot of pressure on the students to be doctors because they didn't make to do medicine, which is not right. So, as I said, we are working on this. It is not easy, but what I love is that CBC has recognized that gap. And we are now looking at issues of talent. The ministry is working on identifying talents and training students to pursue careers based on what they are good at and not what they are pushed to be. We can't all be like matchboxes, same size, same color, and fit in the same box.
It's interesting that you point out to the environment these students are, which also contributes to what they admire and will want to be.
Yes, because we are made by what we see and what we have around. That's what defines us. Yes.
All right, Ekra Ndungu is the Secretary General from the Kenya National Association of Private Colleges. I think we can get to her, so probably ask her the first of the round questions. We talk of environment, which is a unique scenario to bring in, because if one wants to be a procurement officer, because there are people who can walk scot-free of money, still on the question of the environment, then who is this student ideally supposed to listen to? Are they supposed to consume all that they have at their disposal and figure it out for themselves?
Thank you, and thank you for having me, and allow me to acknowledge some of our members, Equip Africa and Jordan, at Kenya National Association of Private Colleges. We are an association for the private TVETs, and we are the next option when Nairobi University and the colleagues consume everybody else. The remainder comes to the 1074 institutions, that is both public and private, but private we are 856, that includes the TVETs and the VTCs. So we are a huge number with about 260,000 students in the private TVETs. And back to your question, on career guidance. There is what my colleague from the University of Nairobi mentioned, and what my colleague and senior here from COOPS has mentioned about the environment and pressure. We were having this chit-chat as we were waiting for this conversation to start. And you find that we have the conventional wisdom is you grow, become a lawyer, become a doctor, become an engineer, and that is what we know. If not that, become a pilot. Nobody tells them that once you become a medical doctor, you will need a plumber in your house. You will need a secretary in your office. You will need a driver to help you run your errands. And you will also need an IT technician to take care of your laptop. And that is where we come in as private TVETs. And for you to be able to do this, you may even have that dream that I wanted to become a doctor. And there you go, you score your D-. And there has been the negative connotation that the TVETs are an option for the failures, which is wrong, because the person who scored an A, we highly appreciate them for their intelligence and the gift to remember during the exam, but they were not tested for the things they are passionate about. That is why you will find you'll also get a successful A student. So how can you even identify what career you're cut for? I noticed when I was seated out there waiting, someone mistook me to be the moderator. I look like a journalist.
We can practically put to test that though, can't we? Go ahead.
And I wanted to become a journalist. And here I am. I am an educationist, and I love what I do every day. If you're very confused on what to take, you can do a psychometric test. And that will guide you and will help you in line with your personality and in line with your natural gifts. What are you capable of doing? Because you may even do that medicine because you have the IQ and become that doctor who will walk around with earphones because you love music. You don't love what you do every day. Not everyone who is doing a successful career is also very successful in it. So in the space of the private TVETs, they are very affordable, the private colleges. So it's an option for anyone below a C with a C minus, a D plus, a D minus, and even an E. You can start from artisan courses to certificate like that.
All right, and as you rightfully put it, it is an option, but not passing. Let's not use the word failure because we totally want to eliminate
and that is the negative connotation we need to rebrand. That TVET is not an option for failures. It's only that it is another option in the ladder of education. It's another pathway.
All right, let me bring in Joseph Ndegwa, who is the head of lending at HELB, to the discussion. Joseph, can there be a wrong or right career?
I don't think that there is a long or right career, because basically what we have seen with many students, even the first course you have done, you don't end up there. We've seen engineers who have become CEOs. We have seen people who have done arts who are now cabinet secretaries. We have seen, so basically you can be able to draw your line. So the first place where you end up may be the long one, but you can be able to draw your career if you do the psychometry test that Ekla has talked about, and you can be able to find your way up. So I think where you start is not so important, because even you can start at the wrong place.
Joseph, I asked you that question with a reminder of the very famous cliche of many students that I study this degree because my parent wanted me to study this. That student still has an option of pursuing their dream, even if it is different from what their parent wanted to be.
Yes, there are so many pathways. After you've done your first course, there are so many pathways. And it is long for parents to choose careers for their children. And we have seen it happening. And what we have seen many children doing, they'll finish your course, you as a parent, but they still find their own way up. And sometimes they don't have to repeat what they wanted. You can get it at another level. If it was at a certificate level, maybe you can pick it at a degree level. Or if it was at a degree level, maybe you can pick your area at master's level. So I think everything is not lost, even when you started the long way.
All right, let me bring into the discussion Mary Wamoko from the National Industrial Training Authority. She is the center manager for Kisumu. Still on the same question. Wrong careers or right careers? Or are careers just as they are careers?
Wow. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to the audience. As you have heard, my name is Mary. I'm representing the Director General, NITA, Mr. Stephen Ogenga. The issue of career and career choice, as I think I'll just reiterate what the panelists have said. If that guidance comes early, then it is possible to choose the right career. Nevertheless, I think interests also change along the way, so that you find yourself at this age gap, and that is observations we have done, because at NITA we have received persons who have trained in something different and then come back and say, I would like now to convert to this. So as much as we are saying that the young people should be exposed as early as possible, and as Madam there has said that there is also a way you can identify what your interests are, it is also very okay to make a choice and not really necessarily condemn yourself because you didn't succeed. There is always another way out. You could turn your automotive engineering to a trainer. You could turn your beadwork into a business, and so on and so forth. So I think there are always opportunities for whatever we take along the way. Thank you.
All right, let's get to Miriam, who is from the University of Nairobi. Miriam, there is a debate on degrees versus the technical courses, TVETs. And it's a huge debate. And it seems as though we are realizing now as a country, observably, that technical courses do matter as degrees too.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. The degree is important. The degrees are important, the technical courses also very important. And I believe there is space for both pathways, whether you've taken a degree, whether you have gone through technical training. And because we are in a growing economy, we are in a world with so many emerging issues and emerging areas, there is space for everybody. And I think what is most important is that at each level, we are able to skill the students, give them skills to be able to operate in the world platform, skills beyond just the academics, skills on how to work with people, how to negotiate with people, skills on how to think and conceptualize, skills on how to empathize. And that, I think, is the most important, that we need to continually upskill our students, give them skills to operate, and not only train them for employment, but train them to be able to create employment. And increasingly, that is what is happening in the university. And I think that that is also what is happening in our TVET sector, that we are continually working to produce graduates who are able to navigate the world, either of work through employment or of work through creating employment, through self-employment. And just to add on the matter of career guidance, the student is very important. For the student to really think what it is they want. We see, this morning, I met a student before I came here who wanted to change the course. They are already in their 4th year of study, and they want to move into a totally different area. And we give them that option. You are able to move, to change, because along the way, as I talked to him, he said, it is my parents who had wanted this course.
But now who is the real owner of this degree? Is it the parent or the student?
So this is a case of a young man who has, for 4 years, battled with what he has been doing and has come to a realization and even matured and has been able to negotiate with his parents that this is not what I wanted. Allow me to now go back and start. So he may go back to restart afresh.
And this practical case is a student who is in 4th year.
Yes.
But could that be a problem that could have been avoided? 4 years is too long, isn't it?
And there we are. 4 years may be too long, but also that is why we are talking about the gap in the area of career guidance that we are trying to work through and to fill, so that these young people, not only do they know what is available, but they are also mentored to be able to articulate their interests. And that we also as parents or teachers are able to understand what is that young person's interest, and can I listen and accept and then guide them along the path that they want. Thank you, Mohammed.
All right, let me get to Dr. Nasi, and still on the question of degrees versus TVET and the wider debate. The Education Ministry says that the government is committed to providing an opportunity for every child to pursue a career of their choice. First, is that realistic? That every student gets a chance to study a career of their choice?
Yes, let me say that is the ultimate goal. Because if we don't get the students to pick the careers of their choice, then we end up in the case that Miriam has talked about. So the student's choice has to be the first priority. And I always like giving my personal experience. I did my KCSE in 1989. I know most of the students here were not born. The panelists also may have been in their early formative stages. But yes, that is about 30 years ago. Yeah, and we were in the first class of 844. So we were not sure, what we were even expected to study when we were in Form 4. Were we to cover the Form 6 syllabus? There was a lot of confusion. We had people come and talk to us about careers, but there was too much pressure to even focus on what careers we were going to be in. Mm-hmm. Remember, in the old system, by the time you're in Form 5 and 6, you already know your pathways. This is a time now we had, you have done more than 10 subjects. You're not sure whether you're an arts person or a science student. So when you get out, what do you become? And then there was a delay in the results and the intake of Form 6. So how we made our choices, personally, I heard that there was an intake at KMTC. Yeah? So with friends, as parents were out working, we sneaked out, went into KMTC, and personally, I looked at the shortest queue. So I made my choice at that time based on the queue that was the shortest, because I needed to get done with this and go back home before my parents were home. So I ended up studying community oral health. Yeah. This is a course that is highly clinical, with a lot of, engagement with patients and blood and all that. And I realized I was struggling as I went along, but I still finished 3 years. So that was the first mistake. Second mistake, by the time I was going to second year, I already had met a young man who was studying in, in the university at College of Medicine. So I decided, well, if I go to the university, because I had made the grades to go to the university, then I get out of this environment and somebody will take this young man. Mm-hmm. So second mistake, I made my decision to stay in a career, in a course that I didn't enjoy, because I had a friend there. So I finished and I got a job, started working, and I didn't just like what I did. Every day I just sang, meno gani inauma, imeuma muda gani, And I realized I was a people person. I enjoyed engaging with. But at this time I had already started a family. Thank God to this young man who stuck by me as I made my mistakes.
All right, Dr. Mercy, before we talk of 3 or 4 mistakes that you have made, you are now the CEO of the Kenya University Colleges and Central Placement Services, yes, which is primarily responsible for the placements of the students at positions, be it at colleges or universities.
Yes.
What informs the decision of placing a student at a particular university to study a certain course, so that they don't end up with the mistakes probably you have made mention of?
Yeah, so the first thing is, what does the student want to be? Mm-hmm. Secondly, have they met the grades that they want to be? Thirdly, are they available? Is the course available? And how many vacancies are there in that course? Because for placement to happen, there is competition for that course. So we place students based on merit. Yeah. So the more students apply for that course, students who have met the minimum, they are competing for a limited government scholarship. So the more they are, the higher the competition. So those are the main things we look at when we are placing. Available places, the performance of the student, the overall performance of the country is important, because if there are more students competing, then the higher the cutoff for that.
And in this effort of placing students at particular institutions of far universities that are distant, or even colleges that are distant from where this individual lives or studied the secondary level?
Mohammed, when we go that way, we go back to the mistakes.
Mhm.
If I'm choosing a career and that career requires me to study a certain course, what should determine that choice is not so much where it is available. Is it available, and the quality of that institution. Otherwise, how do you make a decision based on your, just wanting to remain at home?
But is it a concern that you often get from students as a feedback?
It is a concern, but it is a wrong way to go, because you find now students will say, we have very good courses, for example, in Turkana University. But if you argue that it is far, and I really want to do a course in, let me give an example of the good courses that we have, unique courses. I want to study power and solar energy. They have a very good program on that. But do I change to something else because I don't want to go to Turkana? I think it is wrong. And that makes them take, University of Nairobi, JKUAT, Egerton, because of the name and not so much the courses that are available in those universities.
All right, and given that we are talking of the placement of students at the institutions of higher learning, let me engage MKU now, because it is the leading private university when it comes to public placement of state-funded students. First, this may sound a little bit more of a PR question, but what is the brilliance that is attracting this number of students to MKU?
Mohammed, my colleague had warned me from saying that word. I will not say it because he had warned me. But there is flexibility. There is flexibility in this way. A student has been placed to do a certain course, and they feel that this is not what they wanted. Mount Kenya University allow the student, through the guidance, we have the career guidance and counseling department, to go talk, say, I was placed by COOPS here to do this course, but I don't feel that this is what I want. So we give them a chance through the guidance of the head of department, and they can change from one course to the other. Some of them want, they move there and they say, no, I thought this was this, and I have just realized this is not what I want. I want to go back. As long as they have not finished their first year, they can still do that. What we tell them is that if you overstay, you'll need to fund your education, because COOPS has sponsored you for 8 semesters. If you overstay, you will fund for yourself. So that kind of flexibility. And again, when a student say, I want to move to another university, we don't prevent them from going. We release. And the Bible says the hand that gives is the hand that receives. And we have been receiving quite a number of transfers. We, like last intake, we released about 300, and we received 780 because of that flexibility. Yeah, right. And it's something I would urge also other universities, so that we can give the student what they are able to do. Because a lot of people are killing themselves, not because they don't like to live, but they are in the wrong career. People are committing suicide because you join police force because you think you'll be having a lot of money, then you have money. But life is not about money. Life has more to do with fulfillment. Are you fulfilling what God created you to do?
But Daniel, society is partly to blame for that, isn't it? We have put a price on degrees. We have put a price on education. They told us it was the key. I don't know where the padlock is nowadays.
I start with one word. Know their self. Okay. Who am I? Who am I? When you understand who you are and what you want, And the fulfillment does not come in pleasing the whole world. You don't need to please the whole world. I again go back to the Bible. As you love your neighbor, first know how to love yourself.
All right, Daniel, justifiably point made, and as earlier noted, I have my colleague with me, Linda Alela, who will be taking us through the specifics in as far as the next session is concerned. Linda?
Thank you so much, Abu Bakar. For a moment, I almost got to a point of distracting Abu Bakar. We're saying that it's a competitive world, and therefore the women should find their spaces. And you just realized that Abu Bakar, you know, as emotive as it is, Martha's Education almost got himself into it and forgot that we are actually supposed to be here for 2 hours. And also there's Linda on the other side. So Linda was almost taking her space, but thank you, Abu Bakar. All right, so here we go. And looking at the program, we have specifics that we are supposed to look at. And then hence the reason why we have these speakers this morning. And one thing to note out of everything that has been said is that we acknowledge that there is a problem. And in this problem, then I ask myself, how do we get ourselves off the hook? To imagine that we say we are as flexible to a point where we can always shift careers as much as we want to do that. I think then there's that need where we go back to the drawing board and say, how do we avoid a scenario where then I'll get into this point and then I realize I don't want to do this, then I have to switch to this point, I realize it's actually not working. Probably embrace diversity in the sense of, you know, let's all get to learn everything and anything and see what it is that works for us, or should we go down the lane of specialization? Dr. Fred.
Thank you, Linda. The question is, do we go the line of specialization? Let me start by saying that as I sit here, I sometimes have very many hats. I'm involved in school management. I've been involved in TVET management, and I've been involved in university management. So that tells you that I have quite a number of experience. Specifics, yes. Specifics, no. As we're having this discussion, there was a question which was posted, is there a wrong career or a good career? Is there a good course and a bad course? My colleague, who so happened to be in the same profession as I, from COOPS, the mouth region, because I'm a dentist by profession, there's no bad career. There's no bad course, whether at the university or at TVET. The question comes is attitude. And this we see right from high school, TVET institutions, and the university. Many of you are averse with the idea that girls don't do well in STEM courses. That notion is not correct. Maths is for everybody. Many of you know that men are only meant to do sciences. So when you find a male nurse, you kind of freak out and ask yourself, what is he doing here? And that's what I'm saying. You make good of what you have, which career you've chosen to do. Whether you chose it yourself, the parent guided you, or a mentor guided you, is what do you do with that career that you have? I like to move, and Mercy, you chose a very beautiful career, but somehow you are doing a better job now. What, in this country, there's a lot of construction going on, and I'm sure my colleagues from TVET will tell you, machine operators are not there. The few who have chosen that are getting fulfillment when they'll see the superhighway being completed. They have played their role in the society. So when you are in school, what are we doing in school? Are we in school to get jobs or get education or get knowledge? Where I sit, we go to school to get knowledge. With knowledge now, you become a better person than what you are at whatever stage in your life is. A friend of mine tells me his 90-year-old mother told him that education never stops. And is only, sorry to use this word in national TV, It's only the person who doesn't have much intelligence who will say that they have finished education. We learn every day.
Right.
Whether you are 1 year old or 95-year-old.
Okay.
There's a learning curve. So there's no bad career. There's no bad course. So as Mercy has placed you in Turkana University to do solar engineering, kindly embrace that and run with it and become the best solar engineer in the world, not in the country. We were told by Kipchoge, human beings don't have any limits. We used to think about sky is the limit. He did prove that human beings don't have any limits. So as you embark in whatever you're doing, do you have passion for it? If you're the matatu driver, do you have the passion for doing that? And we're the best driver in that particular route.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, National Industrial Training Authority, and we come to the industrial aspect. We come to the spirit of TVET. The Ministry of Education, CS Magoha, speaks of a scenario where we're going to have 100% recession, or at least an encouragement of the same, and leaves it even open for students who have performed extremely well, or commendably well, and therefore they say in as much as they have this space for university, one can decide that it's all right, I'll not go to university, and opt for TVET, which is actually what is being advocated for in the spirit of making the best of skills. Just how much is NITA doing in terms of industrialization, and then how best does it come in to complement the programs that are being fronted by TVET?
Thank you for that question. Perhaps I would start by allowing viewers to understand NITA. NITA is run by the National Industrial Training Board, which is a tripartite body. The tripartite body is the government, Central Organization of Trade Unions, Gotv, and the Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE. So because of that, what you see there is government and industry. And that is why we are talking about industrial training. Now, once you understand that, then what we are saying is that we work closely with the industry. All these persons who are training in universities and middle-level colleges, VTCs and TVET institutions, at every one time they will be required to go for industrial attachment. And that is one of the roles of NITA. Of course, I need to perhaps just outline a few other mandates or roles, including accreditation of trainers, where if you think you have done enough in terms of working and you would like to become a trainer, you can come for registration and we accredit you. The other things that we do, which is very key right now, is trade testing. Many of you have heard maybe when you go to the garage and you hear that this mechanic is a grade 1, a grade 2, a grade 3. That trade testing is the mandate of NITA. And what we do in government trade testing, the lowest grade, which is grade 3, we don't ask you, where did you go to school? You come and tell us that I feel competent to be assessed so that I can be certified. Now, this has gone on for a very long time, since 1925, and it has now grown to something very huge. Most of you have heard of the recognition of prior running, and the recognition of prior running is actually using the trade testing model, where an instrument is made, and even if you have not been to school but you have been practicing a certain trade or an occupation, then you can come, we develop an instrument for you, we evaluate you, and then we place you where you ought to be. The beautiful thing is in TVET training, and many would know here, is that the establishment of the Kenya National Qualification Authority, which has now come up with harmonized levels of training or certification. Once we place you, for example, at level 3, it means that every other training institution should be able to recognize that certification and place you accordingly, and you can continue with your education. So as much as, say, universities will take this and maybe the others will go to TVET institutions, we are also saying that there's also another path where you can get a certificate without necessarily going to school. And then from there, you can start your life. There are many things that happen to us when we are young, and we are not able to continue the education.
Right.
And that is what the RPL, the recognition of prior learning, has come to really fill that gap.
Okay.
NITA has very many other mandates. I've talked about the industrial attachment. I've talked about trade testing. Because of working with the employers, that is the industry, employers have agreed to contribute the industrial training levy. And this is a pooled fund, so that that money is put together. And if you are part of that fund, you can utilize that fund to upgrade your staff. Right. We are saying that we are talking about continuous learning. So when we do that, we will be perhaps skilling.
Okay.
That is skilling people who don't have maybe certificates in the industry and they have been performing a certain role, or upskilling people perhaps who graduated from universities and technology has changed, so they can go back for upskilling. Mm-hmm. And then we're also saying some occupations, some trades may become irrelevant. So we don't condemn this person. What we can do with this person is reskill. So those 3 ways of skilling is what NITA does with the industry.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. As we go all the way to Hungary, and it's actually a scenario where career choices, that angle is rapidly growing, that is globally, and therefore we want to match up to what it is that is happening globally. On several occasions, we've had our friends who've managed to go abroad telling us that, you know what, when you get there are instances where you're forced to go back to school so that you can match up to the job market there. Just what is, in the box of Education Hungary that is at the disposal of the students that we have here today, and of what benefit then would it be? And in the best interest of time, I would request that we make this brief.
Okay. So thank you so much for that. So for Hungary, we use the Bologna system. So we don't have the TVET system, but we use the Bologna system, which is a 3-cycle education system that is used in all the European countries. So bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And then now for that person who would like to pursue a bachelor's degree and maybe they did not perform very well, then it's possible to do foundational preparatory courses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we offer programs in literally every field you can think of, whether it's in the engineering, medicine, computer science, piloting, every single degree that you can think of, we actually have it in the offering. Okay. And then the other thing, how the system is, it's that I know TVET is very much practice oriented. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of our degrees are theory oriented. So the kind of system that we have in Hungary is a combination of both. So you get to do the theory in class, yes, but also do a lot of practicals at the same time. Mm-hmm. So when you come out with your degree, you're actually very ready to face the world and go out there, get a job, or if you want to start your own business, then you will be ready for that.
Any sponsorships at our disposal?
Absolutely. Okay, so we have different government scholarships and also scholarships offered directly by the universities. We have the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarships. Mm-hmm. So Stipendium Hungaricum scholarships are given to 80 countries in 5 continents. And for Kenya, they offer to 100 students. Okay, mm-hmm. So it's a full scholarship, caters for tuition, accommodation, you get a monthly stipend, and you also get health insurance, so you're fully covered. Mm-hmm. I was under stipendium myself. I studied in Hungary for a Master of Science in Public Health degree, and it was quite helpful. Mm-hmm. So we have the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship. It's a bilateral agreement between Kenya and the Hungarian government. Then we have the scholarship for Christian young people. It's still a part of the Hungarian government scholarships. We also have the Hungary government Food and Agriculture Organization scholarships, which I think maybe some of you may be aware of, FAO. We also have, in one of the universities, the Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Sciences, they have an international scholarship program that was introduced for stipendium applicants who were not nominated by the government, who can now apply for that and get a free reduction of up to 50%. And then we have partial scholarships, so between 25 to 75% offered by the International Business School. Yeah, so all these opportunities are available for Kenyan students and even in the region as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, we definitely take advantage of that. To those of you who are watching us back at home, are engaging us on our social media platforms. We'll get to sample some of the comments that you drop and the questions that you have for the speakers this morning. I think it's only fair that we take a 5 minutes break. We'll be coming back and, we talk to the man himself. When we hear money, we know money is quite a big deal. And therefore, I can speak authoritatively and say that in as much as Abu Bakr asked this question, whether money is coming or he came with money, he was confident that there is money. But the question then would be, is there money really? Because the reports that we've received this week, and that's why I say I speak with confidence, are contrary to what it is that he says. And therefore, he will be here to justify and maybe make us understand some more on what programs are available, who are these that are going to miss out on the help funding, and if they do, then what is there to make sure that they are cushioned, because it's important that every student gets a chance to proceed with their higher education. And therefore, let's take that quick break, and then we come back in 5 minutes.
You are watching TV47. Wondering what next in a crowded, confused and uncertain career market after KCSE? Worry no more. TV47, the fastest growing youth-targeted TV station across the 47 counties, brings you an entire month of career options and choice opportunities across all the leading universities and TVET institutions. We have put together a rich group of experts who will guide you through your career aspirations throughout the month of May. This will climax with a virtual career fair scheduled for the 28th of May at the University of Nairobi Auditorium. All relevant stakeholders are invited to reserve a seat via david.katiku@tv47.co.ke or careersfair@tv47.co.ke on 0791 999 883.
New Blue Band peanut butter. Made with 100% pure peanuts and a good source of omega-6. Grow healthy and happy kids with New Blue Band peanut butter.
Hey, now that's hitting the right notes. When life gets boring, we bring out our play. You see, playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and laugh. It's in the way we walk, the way we rock, and how we just don't stop. You feel me? We add color to everything, to every day and every dish, because the world needs our crazy. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongee zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali, tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Enda job nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444 asi utunukiwe Credo double.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
Oh, hi. It's not what you're thinking. It's a cup of coffee. Coffee, movie. Together, coffee and movie. Every Sunday, 8 p.m. on TV47, where we bring you interesting, enticing people. Well, we've concentrated on musicians.
Yeah.
Watu wakatike.
Yeah.
producers.
So now I manage, because telemanagement and events management, I think, was my passion.
Right about now, we want to go beyond to the counties and to other countries. I'll see you. Let the sun stand still like Joshua times for 3 hours, but this time for only 1 hour. We bring you coffee with movie, interesting, enticing guests. I'll see you. Tunaweza anza tuna Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, twende Uganda, Magufuli Land, TZ, you never know. It is coffee with movie. Jua unaweza enda sasa.
Okay. Hey.
Before the markets open, farmers begin their day, each with a desire to produce the best. But how can they increase the numbers, maintain the standards,
Aitoi ile garlic inafaa itoi, that standard garlic.
reduce the cost,
We spread our risk.
and yet remain the best? Kilimo Diaries, every Sunday when the clock hits 7:30 p.m. The story continues to unfold. The race to win Abel's heart continues.
Huyo mwanamke ataniona. Abel is my mwanamke mgani? Ni nani huyo na nini mbaya?
The betrayal.
Manze chinja huko, hakuna blanda. Sasa ndio huyo yule madam pale hivi. Sasa
And the secrets.
Jeni, si nikwambia napenda Abel. Nampenda tena sana. Nashindwa venye nitaanza. Lakini nashindwa nitaanza aje.
Usichekeshe.
Plan ya siri every Saturday at 8 p.m. Did you know that your business keeps our economy running?
You need the skill, not the papers.
Always tell yourselves, one day at a time. You can't do everything under one roof.
Over time, I've had to realize that good things take time.
The Grind, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. As the country gears up for possible BBI referendum and 2022 general elections,
as the salvos enter too familiar territory,
William Ruto will serve his 5 years term as the deputy president.
Pundits Night is here to give you powerful, thought-provoking political commentaries.
The mountain can produce a country.
give Moses Kuria a chance to respond. Let me ask you this. Are you not taking advantage of first my situation?
You talk about the people with the ultimate power.
Kikuyus will vote for somebody from outside their community to be the next president of this country.
We talk to the newsmakers, the opinion shapers, and the pundits.
Fair enough. I believe
As we dissect everything you need to know to make an informed decision. Owning a home is a keystone to wealth. And building one can be You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
All right, here we are, and inaugural program of the Career Fair program of TV 47. Glad to host you this morning and importantly discuss matters education on the aspect of placements and the career choices that we make that actually guide the next steps that we take in life. As one of the speakers would say, there is no course that is useless. There's no career that is useless. It's just how you make the best of it. And we have pinpointed a couple of problems that have been witnessed over time. That is in regards to how we are out there to select our courses, and importantly, the careers that we take in life. And we realize that we have to get to that shift where we start discussing these problems and we seek the action plans and solutions to how we address the same. As earlier on mentioned, we have specialists from the University of Nairobi, COOPS from HELB, National Industrial Training Authority, that is NITA, Education Hungary, Mount Kenya University, and QUIP Africa Institute, and Jordan College of Technology. And lastly, we also have an official from the Kenya National Association of Private Colleges. The speakers this morning, as we continue with the session, we of course continue also getting to introduce them. The last bit, we had the specifics that we had set aside to make sure that every speaker is to address based on their entity. And on that very last lapse, then we crossed over to the question-answer segment, where we'll pick some of the questions that have been fronted online on our social media platforms at TV47 Kenya, and also our SMS shortcode 22047, and importantly, the audience that is here this morning as we seek the answers. So we have that aspect of help. But before we come to that, and I think it's only fair that we expound some more with Madam Enkra Ndungu, that is in regards to the aspect of TVET, which is crucial. And we seek to understand, as Kenya National Association of Private Colleges, in terms of career guidance in private technical institution and mentorship, just what more is being done? And if you were to rate this, do you suppose then we are taking a successful trajectory?
Thank you, Leader. And yes, we are taking a positive trajectory because there has been changes and we are embracing TVET. And we have several opportunities for the class of 2020, and I echo the congratulations to them again. We have this category that maybe is called a D, and they are wondering, what will I do with my grade? There is the person who scored a D minus, and maybe they are feeling so low and they are thinking that there is nothing that they can do. There is a TVET institution that is private, that is next to them, that is affordable, and that is accessible. And they also learn the entrepreneurial skills, because we say in TVET there is a 65% employability rate, and this is research that is credible, that has been done. So for that person who got an E, there is a course in plumbing that they can do. There is a course in construction that they can be able to do. That person who scored a D minus, if your interest was in health-related courses, there is community health courses to do. There is courses like cosmetology. There is courses like the artisan courses in bakery, and there is also baking technology, such courses. For that person who scored a D plus, they are eligible for a certificate course, and the certificate courses, they range in all different careers of choice. And then we have the category that are eligible for the diploma courses, that is a C minus, and those who are eligible for nursing courses, those who have got a C grade. So the issue is they need to walk into the TVET institution, they'll be guided, and most of the private TVET institution, allow me to mention this, they are founded by experts in that industry. Somebody was a doctor for many years and decided, now I want to share my knowledge out there and to do trainings. So they've some of them are even founded within a hospital, for example, Outspan College, North Medical College, and other institutions. Then we have even specialists like courses in counseling, which is founded by a lead counselor in this country. So it is an option for them. Currently, we have 260,000 students, and they will be able to move on if the dream is to become a professor. You can start from down there. That is why we have an authority like KNQA that can be able to equate. You can start from down there, do your diploma, your first degree, your master's, all the way. So all is not lost, despite the grade that somebody has gotten. All they need is guidance. They can reach to us as an association, and then we can be able to direct them from whichever corner of this country they are in. We also have very interesting courses that have not been in existence, that have been founded through CDAC. CDAC is the Curriculum Development Council that was founded during the TVET strategy of 2015. So we have competency-based curriculums, and these curriculums, we have had the first graduates during COVID get the first certificates.
Right.
So in basic education, it's the time we are starting CBET. At TVET level, we started in 2016. So basically, the course, like for baking, you do it in a bakery practically. A course like hairdressing, you do it practically in a salon. If it is mechatronics, you do it the same. If it is electrical engineering, you also do the course, a CBET course, whereby it's highly practical, and you also get certificates from CDAC.
Right.
And the careers that are available, and the examining bodies, so that the student who is watching out there with that grade knows what to look for. Accredited certifications. Either an institution is offering NEC, it's offering ICM, ABMA, or it's offering CDAC. Those are some of the accredited qualifications
All right, thank
for
you.
the TVET institutions.
Thank you so much, Enkra. And I acknowledge that even when I marched into that room, I almost felt like there was a journalist around me. And so I agree with what it is that technology. Just why is tertiary, or are the tertiary institutions gaining so much popularity in the last decade?
Why the tertiary institutions has gained
so much popularity,
in the recent past. Of course, that question can be answered, but it would be important to equally look at the history of our curriculum since independence. But because that's a long history, I would perhaps start it from the time that the university education sprang with the era of the former president Kibaki. And again, every technical institution and tertiary institutions were being chartered, and they were starting to offering degree courses, masters. But again, with the entrant of the current president, he had focused so much on tertiary education and has developed and channeled and equally allowed that some in the tertiary could be sponsored.
Okay.
That has made it possible for the growth of the tertiary and college education, technical education. But again, when you look at the flexibility and the programs they offer, what endears the technical education to the people is the mode of payment. Mode of payment is negotiable. The terms in which they recruit students equally is not rigid as it is in the university. Then again, there isn't any joint admissions board that perhaps put limitations on who does what and for how long.
Okay.
The length of the time for training is dependent on the ability of the child and the course that she or he is admitted for.
Okay.
So that really endears the technical institutions to the populace. And again, that notwithstanding, there are very many other reasons that perhaps if we look at, we would agree that tertiary TVET doesn't just offer the diplomas and certificates for purposes of sociological reasons, as it is the other side.
Right.
Because you would see somebody walks into the university because he or she got an entry point, a cutman, whereas whatever he goes for was the interest that perhaps the parents never put to accomplishment.
Yeah.
So they leave the shadows of their parents. Whereas down here, they state in the presence of their parents what they feel they are capable of and what their potential and interest drives them to.
Okay.
With the free deferment forms, free deferment conditions, and with skilled personnel who handles them, takes them to the very penultimate end of the course. Not just writing a project for the sake of it, I've got students who have manufactured PhD holders to date. They even hire the degree holders. They even hire the graduates in their firms, and they're just mere computer software installers. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the job, in fact, is reversed. As we looked in the past to those who had degrees and PhDs, we are now looking at those who are technologically skilled persons that would really enable the country economy to grow. But again, if we look at even the developed countries, the first world countries,
yes,
India and China, they do not only depend on the graduates. Most of the workforce spring from the TVET and the middle class, those who never achieved much in education, and they are doing very well with innovation. So we need innovation in our homes, we need innovation in our places of work, but this equally, if we focus on TVET, we would achieve it.
All right.
Industrialization 2030,
Thank you.
Kenya would go very well with that.
Thank you so much, Jackton. Now, Joseph Negwa has a lot of questions to answer. Well, the Higher Education Loans Board has warned that about 95,000 students will miss out on loans this year. We definitely would want to understand why, even as Abubakar Abdullahi engages him some more on other concerns that we'd be having in regards to that. And right after that, then, we'll cross over to the audience. Abubakar.
All right, thank you, Linda Lela. Earlier on, we told our viewers that we are using the hashtag TV47 virtual career on Twitter. There's quite a number of feedback. Let me sample some. Jerry Kemoi says the main purpose of such a career talk is to lead students to the correct career path. Quite in order, Jerry. Frank on Facebook says your success is solely dependent on the course you pursue. I think that is quite debatable in as far as the feedback we have had is concerned. Lily says, in order to succeed in life, you have to be ready to listen to advice from professionals. That's why we have this fair today. All right. Let me sample some as well. Eric says everyone desires to graduate after a good course, but are the good courses enough? All right, those are some of your feedback. The viewers who are watching us on TV47, remember as well, you can send a message to 22047. Before we get to the audience who are here, so that we get to hear what they have in as far as questions and responses are concerned. And before I even engage Joseph on matters money, by show of hand, be it on our audience or the panel here, who here has not benefited in one way or another from help? By show of hand. Has not. Let's reverse that question. Who here has benefited from help by, again, show of hand? That will account for 90%. And Joseph, that 90% and the feeder of that 90% is raising an alarm that 95,000 students will miss on loans this year. Why so?
Thank you very much, Abubakar. Let me not start on the negative about the 95,000. Let me go to the positive first. This year alone,
we'll still come to the negative. Go ahead.
This year alone, HELB has funded over 300,000 students, both in universities and tertiary colleges. And the way we do our funding is we are funded by the national government. So we get capitation from national government. We also do recoveries from those people who have not paid, who are repaid. And by the way, when I speak like that, only 24 billion has been recovered so far from our fund, despite the fact that we have given over 115 billion.
And this money is with ex-students?
9 billion is with the ex-student, 24 billion is with students in the university already. There are about 500,000 students in the university. Those ones already have 24 billion. 9 billion is for people who may be here or not here, who are hiding. But we are coming for you. So we are funded also by recoveries, and also we have now the new thing called external funds. And I'll be telling you a lot of opportunities why I'm talking about external funds. And if you can allow me, because it's about careers.
Go ahead.
We have tried to match our funding to careers. And we have tried to look at what do the youth look for, and what is the government talking about. If the government talking about Big Four, where do we go? So we have gone to TVET, and that could be the reason why TVET have become very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because the industry, the manufacturing, COVID now wants medical people, every sector touching on the Big Four. But again, even without going to those careers that are directly on the Big Four, we also have those people who support those careers. So we are funding almost everybody, but the focus is on TVET and sciences. Then the last one, which is a new, and this is about government policy, and I think it's good for all the youth to hear. We have what we call a new policy by government, where we are looking at opportunities in the blue ocean. Have you heard about blue ocean economy? This is careers in the ocean. We have people who are building ships. We have seafarers. We have cruise ships, and so on and so forth. And also what we have done is that we have looked at these sectors, and we have gone like to the blue ocean and talked to Kenya Maritime Authority, and we have told them there are a lot of opportunities in the ocean. In fact, the employment rate at the ocean is, we can't be able to even supply enough people to work there. The demand is so much. They want like 10,000 people to work in cruise ships this year. They can't get, because we are not training anybody. So we have given a fund by Kenya Maritime Authority, about 30 million. We are funding students in Badari College for nautical science. That nautical science are the pilots who drive those big things you see in the ocean. Mm-hmm. We also have marine engineers. These are the guys who repair ships in the ocean. They can even weld underwater. Yeah, and we have Badari College. We have the Kisumu Maritime Center. We have Kenya National Polytechnic. Kenya Coast National Polytechnic. So we are taking our funds there, and we have done this deliberately because we are looking at, if the government is saying there's a lot of opportunities in the ocean, and Kenyans don't know. So what do we do? So we have deliberately gone out of our office. We didn't have money to fund, and we've gone to KMA. And we told KMA, there's a need here. Can you finance? So we are doing this resource mobilization, basically looking at where is the government going? What is the government policy saying? Where are the opportunities? And that's why you'll find that we are now have even a whole department looking at how we can get money out there. So basically we have funded those three lines. Now, if I can come now to the question that Abaka has asked about the students who have not been funded, and that's why I give the background of our funding. We normally get, like this year our budget was 17 billion for loans. We got 11 billion from the national government as capitation. But remember, COVID came last year, isn't it? And then allowed March thereabout. By June, I think the government started rationalizing the budget. At the end of June, the last quarter of 2019-20 financial, we lost 2.8 billion. Now the government used it maybe to go to COVID because, of course, there was a pandemic and there's no way. People are not even in school, so the struggle was on how do we fight COVID. Then this year, February, the government again rationalized the budget. From what they had given us 11 billion, we lost another 2.2 billion. Now, the effect of that is that because when I was given the budget in July, I was to implement it, and I had 17 billion. Now, when I lost the 2 billion again in February, then some students are going to suffer. Yeah, they have applied for loans. We have their forms. We now looking for money because what we could have given them is not there. But we are talking to government. We are hoping that this week or maybe next week, there's another supplementary budget. We have requested whether that money can be reinstated. So we are working on that, and I think the CAs and our CEO are really learning with that. So
Joseph, you talk of budgetary cuts.
Yes.
And there's the element of loss, which begs the question, the losses from the non-performing loans?
No, there are two scenarios here. There's no loss as in like when you talk of a financial loss. Mm-hmm. These are budget rationalization issued by the national government. Number two, I also said we are funded by our recoveries, isn't it? But because of COVID, people have lost jobs. And those who have not lost jobs, they have had their salaries cut. Big corporations like KQ are paying people 35%, 50%. So those people cannot be able to pay their loans. So instead of recovering, like in a quarter, we recover about 1.2 billion. This year, we're doing like maybe three quarters of that. Mm-hmm. We'll not be able to get there. So all that money was supposed to go to fund these students. So we don't have money, but we're hoping that, God willing, we will be able to get some support from the government, but again, the financial year is coming at the end of July, and students are anxious, so we're hoping that they'll understand and be patient.
And to a student who was really hoping to use HELB's money to further their studies, what options do they have?
Right now, by the way, apart from the national FAD, which we are learning, and we are saying that yes, we are learning empty right now as I speak. We have other FADs. We have mobilized FADs from like the one I talk about, Kenya Maritime Authority, but we also have FADs from constituencies. People don't know that if you come from certain counties like Kakamega, Busia, Taita Taveta, we have about 38 or so FADs where we have money. That if you're not getting money from the national FAD, if my FAD is, I'm waiting for government to give me money, those counties have brought money to us to manage on behalf of students from those counties. And that is really helping. But now we have many other areas, many other constituencies and counties where we don't have FAD. Those ones will have to wait until we get the LIPRI from the National Treasury. And then maybe we hope that our recoveries are going to recover.
Thank you, Joseph, for those answers. Well, we have had patiently seated, pensively listening audience. Let's get to them now. Kindly, if you have a question, we have a mic that is roaming around. Introduce yourself, tell us the institution you are from, and ask your question. Specify if it is a general question, kindly, or is it a question you will love to be addressed by any of our panelists. We have quite a number of hands up. Let's start with the lady here in the white MKU t-shirt.
My name is Beth Weaver from Mount Kenya University, and I'm doing journalism. And my question goes to the HELB department. I've never personally used HELB or relied on HELB, but I'm asking, there are some students who don't have money to go to school and are relying on HELB, and maybe didn't get the grade to go to university, let's say a C- or a D. How do you guys always choose the people to get the HELB? Like, that's what I really want to know.
Good. I think we can take one round of the questions so that we have an answer. The gentleman, yes?
My name's Dennis. I'm pursuing my postgraduate here from this university, and I have one question to HELB. One, assume someone actually benefited with the money, and after upon graduation, the person did got a job to help him pay the HELB. Now, what mitigation strategies as HELB do you have in place to help this young man? And having in mind that HELB, they do have interest rate and also the penalty part element. Thank you.
So that question is for someone who has the HELB loan but has no job, and they're expected to repay. Good. Yes, I think we can have gentleman in the front line.
Thank you, Mohammed. My name is Tony Agutu. I'm from this university, and I'm finally a student. I'm writing about youth policy and governance. So my question goes to our panelists from education in Hungary. I'd like you to give us a comparative perspective in how you think our education system is preparing us to the narrative we're having about fourth industrial revolution. How well do you think we are being prepared for this new world that you're going into, in vis-a-vis from your role that you play in your capacity? And also, I would like to just pose a question to HELB. On behalf of students who their academic calendars might be disrupted, probably because of COVID or any other reason, how do we engage you to ensure that we don't have courses that have overstayed, HELB imposing interest on loans for people who have actually overstayed, not out of their will, but due to structural challenges along the academic calendar. Yes.
Thank you. The lady in the yellow mask.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Railema Atieno Ude from Mount Kenya University, studying Bachelor of Business Management. My question, I have two questions actually. My first question goes to the help officer. For us, those who applied for help and those who have received it earlier, they keep on asking us, have you received any message giving you your batch number or anything? And that is not there. We are in the dark. We don't know whether we're gonna get it or not. And that is my first question. My second question goes to Dr. Fred. Dr. Fred, I heard you saying that your course, when you're choosing your course, it depends with the economy. If you want to be, and you give examples like if you want to be a doctor or if you want to be a pilot, are you going to be a pilot in Kenya or in America? So, to you, who is training us to become better Kenyans and to make a Kenya a good country and develop our country, what would you advise someone who wants to study to become a pilot? Will you advise, if he has the person has money and the resources, would you advise such a person to go and study abroad and leave Kenya? Thank you.
All right, I believe we have had 6 questions. We can have a second round kindly, but let's get answers to those questions. And it seems as though much of the questions were to Joseph. Probably we can start with the first question of who do you choose and how do you choose who to fund?
Thank you. I didn't get the name of the person, but we have a criteria which is quite objective, and it looks at your application and the data you have provided. There are several parameters or variables that we ask for. And many a time we don't ask for direct questions like how much is your income. We'll ask you where do you stay, where do you come from, which kind of house do you stay, how do you dispose your waste. Those are called proxy indicators of your income. Because if you tell me you're staying in Kalen, definitely I'll know this guy nitampatia point 10 instead of 20. And then when you went to a private school, maybe I'll give you, depending on, that kind of thing. So there's a criteria we use, and there's no way that two people can be given the same amount of money unless the data is the same. Yeah. So if you're coming from unique homes, you get unique support. And then we also look at the ability of the household income to support you and your siblings. So if your parent is earning enough money and can pay your fees, which we know you have told us your fees is 50,000 or 100, and your parent can pay for your brother and sister, then we don't have to come in. Ours is a targeted kind of support. And just to go, you talked about C minors, and we fund even a D. If you are going for a certificate course in a TVET college, we'll fund you. We do not fund TVET certificate. We don't fund the same courses in universities because I think of policy issues. But even if you are doing a certificate in a TVET college, you are in Badari, wherever, we'll fund you. So we don't look at the grade because the admission criteria is with the funding with the institutions. So we will look at, have you been admitted? Fine. And do you meet our criteria? Good. And we have room for anybody who has not been able to get. And I think for those who have interacted with HELB, maybe on issues of funding, you know that you are quite responsive and we never stop to listen.
And for someone who has your loan and has no job?
Now, my friend, we will assist you to get a job. If you come to us and tell us, I'm going for an interview, and I need a clearance certificate, we'll give you a certificate to go and get a job so that you can pay us. But we will not be able to waive the loan nor the interest. What we can do, we can discuss with you, is when finally you get a job, is we can discuss about penalties. We can waive 80% of your penalties. Yeah? And then, again, we are challenging students, which is a challenge only, but it's not that that must be the way. If you are out there, don't just wait to look for a white-collar job. Please be creative. Talk to your friends. You can even partner with your colleagues and create employment. We have seen people doing that. Yeah.
I think, Joseph, the primary question there is, how do you expect, for instance, me to repay your loan, yet I don't have a job? Someone who is between survival and paying loan.
And you know, if you look at most of us, we have so many needs, yeah? But we're able to meet some, maybe at whatever level. At HELP, we are saying, do you even have 50 bob per day? You pay 50 bob. And there's M-Pesa. You just say, there are people, we have a guy who is a fisherman in Kisumu, and he pays us 50 bob every day. I mean, we afford it, and we can discuss. And then, of course, we are not saying that we are going to jail you, but if you tell us every 3 months that, yes, bado sijapata job, we'll be able to waive any charges on you. That is there in our act, if you read our act. Every 3 months, tell us, I'm still tamaking. But again, I am telling you, be broad in what kind of incomes you are looking at. Some people are saying income is salaried. But you find that people have a lot of income. They are doing other, they call them side hustles, juakali. And that's where the money is.
All right, there was a third question on the batch number, I believe, from the lady in the yellow mask.
I think the lady is talking about delayed disbursement. If there is any delay of disbursement, I'm not aware. But I know in January, February, we had the same issues of funding from Treasury, and our recoveries had been affected by COVID. We may have delayed that time, but we recovered quickly and be able to pay. Now, if I'm talking about a budget of, so far I've done 12.7 billion, but I've disbursed 11.6 billion. What is remaining is some few universities that have not gone for second semester, and they know them. So I don't know whether she's from that university. But if there is any other person, especially if you're not in a university like Moi, Kibabi, that multimedia that came in late for their second semester or first semester, if you are in any other university and you have not been paid, then there's a problem with your record, and we have communicated to you on SMS, on email, and people still don't come. We write to you 10 SMSs, 10 emails to come. Your loan has a challenge, but you have not come. So if I would want also to, because my colleague in green there, Joyce, you can take the details of the person, and then we'll be able to communicate. And then make use of your deans. You have deans employed by your universities to talk to us, and they pick those issues very fast. Imagine in a population of 500,000, and I'm here in Nairobi with my 25 members of staff. I may not be able to know everything happening, but we have structures where that can be taken. We have a Huduma Center mainly near you. We also have an officer there. Please.
All right, let's get to Caroline. And the question was comparatively, how well prepared are students in Kenya in comparison to Hungary for the fourth industrial revolution, is it? Good.
Okay, so thank you for your question. I have been in both education systems, and I would say that there are quite some differences, and of course comparisons as well, which is similar in regards to both systems of education. So let me give from my own experience when I studied here. I think apart from the theory that I remember, studying for my psychology, the main thing that really helped me in my career was internship. Okay, so I did my internship at the Kenyatta National Hospital, and the skills I gained in 2012 in the psychiatry unit, mental health unit at Kenyatta, those skills are still helping me up to now. I cannot even compare the experience that I received during the internship to my counseling experience later on. So that was very key in preparing me for the job market before I even went to Hungary. So the practical part. So I'm going to now just a brief on, for example, some differences between the Hungarian system and in Kenya with what I saw. For example, research, in terms of research, but correct me, University of Nairobi if I'm wrong, and MKU. So in terms of research, it's quite advanced in Europe. It's quite advanced. And also in terms of libraries, we have very well equipped libraries which have virtual spaces that can. And we're talking about you get information on the latest research on different areas. For example, when I was doing my Master of Science in Public Health,
we used to be brought information by our professors. For example, if it was in 2018, we will get information from 2017. Yeah. So on the latest advancements in the field of public health. So in that, I saw there was quite a bit of a difference in comparison to our system here. Then secondly, again, in terms of research, the universities, for example, have the Technology Transfer Office, which is used for intellectual property protection for those who come up with inventions in the laboratories. So they assist in patenting different innovations that researchers who are students may have come up with. They also assist in linking up these students to investors who may assist in furthering the product. They assist in supporting startups for the same. So you can imagine, so this is post your PhD as an example. They also assist in spin-offs, doing spin-offs as well, in spin-off companies. And they also there are also opportunities for research assistants at the university. So for example, if you've gone to do your master's and you're interested in a certain research that is happening in one of the laboratories which has PhD students, it's actually possible to join in and work as a research assistant. And the other thing also is, let me give an example of one of the universities, the Hungarian University of Agriculture and Life Sciences. It is a conglomerate of 2 universities, together with 11 research institutions and over 50 research centers. So you can imagine the level of research that goes on there. Yeah. So in terms of research, there's actually a big difference that I saw if I were to compare with Kenya. And as a result, when you leave with that kind of accreditation in your PhD or your master's paper, yeah, it's a big deal when you go out there, either to get employment or to even start your own entrepreneurship journey. The other thing also is in terms of accreditation. I'm not sure, maybe one of us can tell us who is in UN or MKU about accreditation of our universities. So you find if you were to get a degree in Hungary, as an example, in one of our universities, you get accredited in the whole of the European Union. So you can, once you finish school, you can get a job in any of the European Union countries. It's actually very possible. And the degree is also recognized in places like the US, Israel, United Arab Emirates, and so many other countries. So you can actually get opportunities to work in those places. And then I'll also look at the aspect of opportunities as well, in terms of when you're a medical student in Hungary, it's actually possible to finish your degree and do a preparatory course, whether you're doing general medicine or dentistry, which will assist you in your journey to becoming a doctor and working in a place like Canada. So there are such opportunities in Hungary. I'm just imagining as compared to what we would have, but of course, there's always room for improvement on our end for Kenyan universities. But correct me.
All right, Caroline, you
Okay.
talk of research, innovation,
Yes.
opportunities.
So 2 more. Career placement and guidance. For example, the universities offer that as well, which I know also in Kenya, where there's a career office that assists students with career placements. So once you finish, to set you up maybe in an organization. For example, the International Business School is in an office park that has over 70 plus companies like Microsoft, Canon, SAP, Silicon Labs. So if you've done, for example, computer science, and the IBS is able to put up your CV in a certain portal, and these companies will now just check and they invite you for an interview. So such opportunities are there. Last but not least, mobility programs as well. So when you go to study in Hungary, it's actually possible to go to other countries for student exchange programs. And you can imagine now, this is experience that you're gaining. I mean, if you go and study in Germany for 1 semester, there's so much that you gain when you're on the other side. And then when you come back, yeah, with that experience, the multicultural experience that you'll have gotten, it increases your chances of getting hired definitely, yes. And
All
also
right,
opens up your
Dr. Fred,
eyes, yeah.
you equally had a question to answer, and this was more on, would you advise someone who has the financial capacity to study outside of Kenya to go ahead and do so?
Mohammed, thank you very much. Maybe before I answer that, I'd like to, Caroline did mention about whether our education system is better than or at par with the rest of the world. Caroline, I'd like to tell you that it's because of the Kenyan education system, that's why you're able to go there and do your master's. It is of that high quality. They never wondered where you did your undergraduate. So please, maybe after today, change the mindset.
But those are equally unique points to adopt into any of our systems, aren't they?
What I'm alluding to is that the Kenya education system, our graduates, undergraduate, masters, and PhD are able to fit in any corner of the world and take leadership position. They take leadership position because of the robust system, accreditation, and checks and measures that are put in place by Q and the other regulatory bodies. So, having said that, she talked about research. The research we're doing in this country is comparable with the rest of the world. If I come to my own area of field, HIV/AIDS, how HIV/AIDS is being managed in the world, most of the research work was done at the University of Nairobi, and that has changed how the management and how we look at HIV/AIDS. At the moment, we have the COVID-19 pandemic. The University of Nairobi, MKU, are in the forefront of doing research, and the work that we're doing are changing how everything is being looked at. We talked about accreditation. All our students, and I can tell you, especially the ones from the University of Nairobi, once you have that certificate, nobody's going to ask you where you come from. Why? Out of the 24,000 universities ranked through Webometrics, University of Nairobi is among 1,000, within the 1,000. When you look at Africa, we are within the first 10. When you come to Kenya, we are ranked number 1. So accreditation is recognized worldwide, and this applies to the rest of the universities in this country. So nobody's going to ask you whether you have done engineering, where you came from. It will be that long story. Let me come back now to Atieno. She did ask, if you have money, where do you want to study piloting? Is it in Kenya or abroad? As I'd mentioned, starting with my answer, the education system in Kenya is so robust that if you want to go abroad, it's for the experience of being abroad, not that you'll get superior education. So the choice is yours. You want to become a pilot? Get trained in Kenya. But if you want that extra experience of having been to Australia, having been to States, yes, you can go there because you have the money. But our education system in this country is at par with anywhere else, if not better than most of the rest of the world. So do not fear whether you can study to be a pilot here, a medical doctor here, an engineer, an electrical engineer, or even we sometimes forget to talk about the social sciences, whether you want to be a psychiatrist. Please study, especially the first degree. I recommend do it at home because you have a lot of support. You still have a lot of growth if you're a young person to go out. You still need your aunties around you. Mm-hmm. You still need your uncles around you. You still need your schoolmates around you. But for your masters, then explore the world because a person who has traveled has better vision for the rest of everything.
Dr. Fred, let me interject you at that point. And this is due to my own curiosity rather. You say it is purposely for the experience. It's more than the experience, isn't it? Why is the rest of the world seemingly more advanced than us if our education system is at par with them?
I can tell you, in this university where we are, most of our professors and faculty are adjunct professors in most of the universities in America and Europe.
And no dispute to that.
Yes, that tells you that our system, the knowledge they're giving in Europe is the same knowledge they're giving here.
Are we then applying that knowledge? If it is an equal level playing ground, you will expect, if I score 2 goals, if this was a game of football, you will score 2. They're scoring 6, 7, we are scoring 1.
The answer is yes. When we have international competitions and we put our students out there with the rest of the world, Mohammed, you have known we have been winning the trophies, our students from the Kenyan universities. That tells you that they are getting the best.
All right. We will get to the second round of questions, but before we do that, one question to Dr. Mercy on the question of placements. The KCSE class of 2020 this week, as per reports, will know which university they will join. Kindly take us through the application process.
Thank you for the opportunity. Let me say that they will not know this week. What we have done, we have opened the portal so that the students are able to make their choices. We opened on 24th, this was on Monday, and that will run up to 11th of June. Now what happens, the students made their selections while they were in school, but we found that probably about 25% of the students did this. Most of our students wait until the results are out so that they can now make their selections, and that's why we call it a revision, because the first application was while in school. So we are giving them an opportunity to revise. Now looking at the grades they got and their interests, then they can be able to now start choosing the courses they want to go into. So this will run, it's an online process. If the students just log into the students portal, they are able to see the over 600 institutions, both TVET and university. And I'd like to mention that last year we had over 2,000 students who had C+ and above who opted to take TVET courses. So we are not limiting the C+ and above to just university. If they find a choice, a course of their choice that is in the TVET sector, they are free to do that. So we provide 4 opportunities, 4 choices for university and 4 choices for TVET. Now in the university, choice number 1, they have an opportunity to have 1A, 1B, 1C. This is same course, but in different universities. Because it's very competitive, we have 142, close to 43,000 competing for 160,000 places. It means there's an opportunity for everyone who got a C+ and above to join the university. And the government has actually said that we don't have that cutoff. I saw in the social media message going around that it's a B or B- for boys and something else for girls. Please, that is not true. It is a C+ for everyone. And then from C all the way to E, we have again government scholarships for students into the TVET sector. I mean, who gives you a scholarship with an E? So this is quite an achievement for this country that we have opportunities. We are supporting 100% transition. After the 11th, we will close the portal, run our simulations, because the process of placement is done in a fair, competitive way, and it's all about merit. So the first one who scored higher goes in before the next. Then we'll run the simulations for a week, and then we'll open again for second selection. So the courses that will not have filled up and the students who will not have secured a place will be able to to revise their choices again. And then depending on how that goes, we can make a decision whether to have a third revision or not. We hope that everybody can go in with a second revision. Thank you very much.
All right, Ekra, I saw your hand up.
maybe before they come to sanitize, I'd like to mention that we still, we'll take up 142 for university. We have 160 places, 160,000 for university. We have 300,000 places for TVET. And we know we had over 700,000 students. So there is still a place for TVET private institutions and other universities also that may not be part of the government-sponsored system. So there is a place for everyone.
All right, Ekra.
Thank you very much, CEO Coops, for mentioning that there is an opportunity for students in the private TVETs. So also it is a chance to box help, I think even from the panel. The students in the private TVETs do not get help loans, but that's a conversation we will have behind the tent. I believe this information is important if it goes out there for the students who are talking about their innovations, especially in the private TVETs. We have had students develop softwares, those who have done a diploma in computer science or IT. This information is important for students to know there is a body called Kenya Innovation Agency, where you can register your innovation and you can patent your work. So a lot of universities are working with Kenya Innovation Agency. I saw one with Riara University. I have seen Mount Kenya University. I have seen UON. And also some of our diploma students in the TVET, private TVET institutions. So this information is important because you may find that a student may just decide to travel thinking that such opportunities are not found locally. Thank you.
All right, and because of the interest of time, 2 more questions, and kindly let them not be a repeat of the questions that have been asked. Yes?
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Anthony Manyara, the President, Kenya University Students Organization, KUSO. My question, of course, I arrived a bit late, so I wanted to ask questions to do with HELB, but you can see currently we are addressing issues to do with COOPS. So, Dr. Mercy Wahome, very many students who have been placed even before in the previous years, they have had a number of issues to do with the qualifications. My question is, if for instance we have like 10 students who have cluster points probably, let's say around 3.5, what criteria is used to know what student is to take to the next, to the second option, third option, simply because they all qualify for the same course, maybe in a certain university. So what criteria is used to know which student to place at the top and the student also to give the second option? Because some students come in the universities, they try to do inter-university transfer, inter-course transfer, and claim that KUCCPS has been very unfair to them. Maybe they claim that some students coming from maybe better backgrounds are more considered than the rest. So that is one of the questions. Second, and also like to say that recently, after KCSE results were announced, when there was this window of first revision, some students are saying that there has been some issues to do with technical problems of the system. When a student, tries to revise, even there are payment issues, so there is not enough time to do the revision. I think those are my 2 questions, but I would want, maybe as we progress, I be given a chance to address matters help, because
you have asked 2 important questions, the criteria used and the technical problems. One final question. Gentleman in the blue mask, is that?
Okay, thank you. My name is Odi Warjak from Mount Kenya University. I'm the President Student Association Mount Kenya, Nairobi. And I'm studying Human Resource Management. So my first question, the help guy, sorry, we'll just have to continue. First,
provided it's not a repeat of the questions asked earlier.
Yes. You find that you give a provision for private students to apply. And if a private, for instance, is working, is being asked to start paying the loan the following month. And you find maybe this student is by circumstance that maybe is doing some small things and is trying to get help to supplement maybe what he has borrowed or the little income he has. Why should these students not be treated equally so that they complete the course, then they start now paying the help? My second question and last one, to our universities. We've seen you play an important role in career choice for our maybe incoming students to the universities. What are some of the solutions you put to ensure that that student from a very poor background who cannot access the digital platform is able to get this information so that when they are making the decision, they make a good one when joining the university? Thank you.
And because of the interest of time, a minute to each question. Let's start with the CEO. Criteria used and technical problems cited.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Manyara, for your question. Now, when we are doing the placement, I think I started by saying the process is fair, very competitive, and we are now using an electronic system that has no human intervention. So the example you gave where we have 10 students with 43 points, maybe 43.5, all having applied for the same course, how do you determine who goes in first? Now we go up to the third decimal. So 43.527 would go in before 43.525. That is how precise we are when it comes to the competitiveness of the available places. Now, if you find the 10 students, one had selected the course as their first choice, then you find the first choice goes in first. So again, the order in which you had put in your courses. So you find that now determines the cutoff for that university and that course. So we are providing the cutoffs for last year, 2019 candidates, so that it gives you a guide. Now, if you have all the students taking one university, preferring one university, then you find because of competition, the cutoff still goes higher. So the same course, let me give an example of medicine, would have a higher cutoff at UON, higher cutoff in JKUAT, and a lower cutoff in a university I don't want to mention, all the way from 44 to 34. Not because the 34 is not good enough. It is because of how many students are competing to go into that university. On the other question of the issue of transfer, now if you come into a university and there was the cutoff for that course, doing a transfer within the institution, you will have to still refer to the COOPS data which had given the cutoff for that course. So you cannot get in and change into medicine and you had gone in for lab, we will still refer to the cutoff for medicine in the university you are. And if you don't make it, you'd have to transfer to another institution or remain in the course that we placed you in. Or change into a self-sponsored student. So we are that precise. On the issue of the system, yes, we have had challenges because we have upgraded our security system. In the past, we have found a lot of attempts to hack into our system during this process. And we had to upgrade that security system so that we ensure that we do not have hackers. I think people all over, and this is something that is happening globally, hacking security, cyber security is real. So we are not an exemption in that, and therefore, but I can assure you that the system is working. As we sit here, those are some of the things we are addressing. The payment process, again, there are those who have come up with even registered people who are trying to be sly and registering M-Pesa numbers. So please stick to the numbers that we have provided in our website.
All right, and there is a cross-cutting question on what universities are doing to less advantaged students. Let's get a quick round of answer from Jordan, MKU, and UON. Kindly in 30 seconds.
Thank you. What the Jordan College is doing to the less privileged, that's the question. Of course, we've opened our doors for those who perhaps were not privileged to get the entry points to the universities. And equally, we've given them the platform to perhaps decide for themselves, of course, in consultation with the parents and those who handle them in high school level, perhaps the teacher who was in charge of careers, because they have them in secondary schools, so that we and eventually place the same child. But that notwithstanding, the placement is, of course, given on the strength and abilities demonstrated, having looked at the slip, but with the leeway to change, just in case the child, him or herself, feels after a week or two that he cannot manage with the course.
All right, well answered. Let's get to MKU. Same question.
Thank you. If I understood your question was, how do we reach out to those people who cannot access TV, cannot access this kind of forum? I'm just from Makueni County for 2 weeks. What was I doing? I had taken career mentorship to Makueni. I slept there, walked, went to chief barazas, went to schools, I was in town, and this is where we take the information. I was telling Coops I need to be carrying them with me because I sing Coops, TVET. I tell people what the opportunities which are there. So given an opportunity, we also go to churches on Sunday, where you meet people and talk about education, opportunities, not necessary to join Mount Kenya University, but the opportunities which are there. And as a university, Mount Kenya University, we have segmented our marketing areas, and we have each center or campus covering a particular region. So I may say that we have covered 47 counties in Kenya, and the recruitment team go into the rural areas, buying center and doing that. And one more, we also go across the country, and I can say that we have 34 countries represented, African countries represented in Mount Kenya University, and we give this information.
All right, and it's good that you say you are to the 47 counties, because we are equally live on TV 47. We are getting to the 47 counties. Miriam, same question of what UON for this matter is doing for less privileged students.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Remember that UON is a public entity, and our first service is to the citizens of Kenya. So we are open at all times to render service for those especially who are not able to engage on the online platform, because we know that across Kenya that is a challenge. Network, power, gadgets. You may be able to visit us if you're not able to engage with our platforms, with your documents and we assist you to apply and upload. Should you be able to communicate with us through email, we similarly assist you to send your documents and we assist you with the processing. We have our main campus. We have campuses in a campus in Mombasa and in Kisumu where you can walk in and get any assistance you require. So through that and also through campaigns, we communicate, especially during COVID. We have managed to communicate with schools across the entire country where we provide to them information about our programs, our qualifications, and what it entails. And we are also a great partner of COOPS, being a precursor through the Joint Admissions Board, so that whatever customers come for COOPS services, we are able to assist where we can and refer them to COOPS for further detailed assistance. Thank you.
All right, one question for...
I don't know whether my colleague, Dr. Tieno...
I think because of the interest of time, that answer will suffice.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
With my permission from Dr. Wahome, is that especially KCSE candidates, when you see a grade of A, please, it's not 18 points. And I'm sure she forgot to mention that. Those grades are graded. That's why you end up with a cluster of 43.3 something. Because A is graded from 15 to 18. And likewise like that. It's necessary that the students get to know you do not go to the raw marks and just calculate. Please be guided by what COOPS has given you on the platform. Thank you.
All right, initially you told us what the National Industrial Training Authority does. How can one join NITA? Briefly in 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Mohammed, I've had panel members talk about what they are doing for the needy people, and I want to say that NITA also has a small program for female, for ladies. We call it Female Engineering Program. It covers our regions, and every year we sponsor 50 students. It looks like a small number, but by and large, the impact has been very large. They are properly vetted.
Wondering what next in a crowded, confused, and uncertain career market after KCSE? Worry no more. TV47, the fastest growing youth-targeted TV station.
Centers of Excellence. These are industry simulated centers. We have one in Mombasa, currently just upgraded by the government of Kenya and Korean government. We have another one in Athi River, which is from a center of excellence for mechanical engineering and automotive engineering. We have a center called NITA Textiles. It only deals with textiles matters, and it has a full industry. Anything textiles can be done at NITA Textiles and serves basically the EPZ and other industries. Then we have NITA Nairobi, which is a center of excellence in electrical engineering. We have NITA Kisumu, which is the only center in this country that is training in boiler technology. So it would be important for me to mention that. For more information, if you visit www.nita.go.ke, you'll find a lot of information there. But again, if you have any inquiry, you can write to the Director General at nita.go.ke.
All right, and there was one final question on HELB and someone who has the loan and has no job. It may sound repetitive, but one more time, Joseph.
I think there was a question on COVID, disruptions by COVID, and somebody wanted to know whether we can structure their loans. Yes, we do. And as I speak now, we have restructured over 5,000 loans. We give you an extended period, or we waive the penalties, so that one you can come and discuss with us. About postgraduate, I think somebody was asking if he can do postgraduate and why they are charged higher interest than the rest of the students. You know, HELB is not it's not about equality, it's about equity, the most need. And I said we target the students we want to fund. So if you don't have the need, and then if you're going to do a second degree, when somebody has not done a first degree, we can't treat you the same. So we have designed products and we have segmented the market. We have products for people who are joining, people who are working, and so on and so forth. The last one is the clarification on, also to clarify on the blue ocean opportunities. The clarification I want to make is that you don't have to go to those colleges I mentioned, Badari, Kisumu, Maritime, and so on. You can be in any TVET or any university, but they allow conversion. There's a conversion course which I think 2 weeks at Badari College, and you can go to them. And they are looking for hairdressers, swimming pool cleaners, people who can bake in the cruise ships, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, we might not be able to have all. Yes. Let me use this. Yes, we might not be able to have all the questions answered, but all the same, we say it's open. We still have the ground open. We can close this session as of now, but you are free to engage the speakers, of course, right after the program, in case you have any question that you definitely expect them to respond to. And of course, just as we get to the last laps of it, I think it's important that once again, we acknowledge the presence of the speakers this morning, or yes, it's actually morning going to the afternoon, and we are in the afternoon as we come to the close of the session. Mrs. Mariam Manya, Academic Division, University of Nairobi, right there. And we also have Dr. Fred Otieno, Chairman of Promotion of Academics. Yes. Good to have you. Thank you so much. Dr. Masi Wahome, CEO, that is COOPS. Thank you so much. And the HELP representative, head of lending, Joseph Ndegwa. Once again, thank you so much. The man of the day, we would want to call him because of money. And National Industrial Training Authority, NITA, Mary Wamoke, Center Manager, Kisumu. Thank you so much. And we also do not forget the presence of Education Hungary, that is representatives, Caroline Kithama, Head of Office. Thank you so much for your time. Mount Kenya University versus Equip Africa Institute, Daniel Kiriti, Deputy Director, Communications and Student Recruitment, Asante Sana, Jordan College of Technology, Jackton Bunde, Dean of Students. Thank you so much. And lastly, Kenya National Association of Private Colleges representative, Enkran Dungu, who's the Secretary General, Asante Sana. We also do not forget the presence of our very own Josiah, who's spearheaded this activity. Yes, Josiah is one of the key figures that has been instrumental in the setting up of this, of course, session alongside his able team. And you've been seeing them running around. This is courtesy of TV47 Josiah Muse. We acknowledge his presence and we say Asante Sana for taking us through this. He's actually the head within the commercial direction or the commercial department. And yes, my very own able moderator, Abu Bakar, Asante Sana for that. And everyone who's made this one a success. You back at home, the ones who've been watching us on TV47, actively engaging us on our social media platforms, we say Asante Sana and the larger TV47 fraternity. Then I'll allow Abu Bakar to close it for us.
I think not as a journalist now, but as part of the team. Thank you all for making time for us. I think we all deserve a round of applause. All right, and to those in the education sector, far and above the panel that we have had here, we have a special inclination on education as a media house. So you can always count on our